This is NASA TV.
The crew is awake earlier than expected. The wake-up song was the theme to Space Jam. So I know the astronauts are up and moving about the cabin, monitoring the progress of their spacecraft and continuing to prepare for their arrival at the International Space Station.
Dragon, SpaceX, burn nominal.
Dragon copies.
And Kayla, give us 5-10 minutes. We'll try to get you an updated timeline now that we know our final altitude on the ecliptic.
Roger, we'll stand by for final timeline.
As you heard, the Crew Operations and Resources Engineer, or the CORE, at SpaceX headquarters in Hawthorne, California, report to the crew aboard Crew Dragon Endurance. The final co-elliptic burn, which began at 12:55 p.m. Central Time, was nominal, as were the other 4 major burns. The transfer burn put Dragon's highest point of orbit, or its apogee, just 2.5 kilometers lower than the space station. This final co-elliptic burn placed Dragon into the same orbital plane as the International Space Station, about 2.5 kilometers below the station all the way around the Earth, to prepare for its approach and autonomous docking maneuvers. This is the 5th of those 5 major burns before we get into the approach initiation and rendezvous phase.
Should be the 11th minute of the 11th hour of the 11th day of the 11th month down there at Hawthorne, and just a few seconds of silence to think about the veterans of the First World War and the following world wars that made it possible for us to be up here in space on the way to an International Space Station.
Crew-3, we copy and appreciate your acknowledgement of that special moment in time, and we're staying silent down here.
Thanks on behalf of Endurance and SpaceX and NASA and really the world, to all the veterans who give us the ability to do this on a daily basis. Appreciate it.
Good evening, Europe. Guten Abend, Deutschland. This is Endurance, Crew Dragon 3. We're flying currently along Italy, heading towards Northern Europe. On the left side is Germany. We would like to show you this from the space view, but it's night and dark. But we just saw a few minutes ago our final destination, the International Space Station, floating in space and shining like a diamond, only 30 kilometers forward of us. And that was such an emotional moment. We all felt very thrilled, very excited, and we can't wait to arrive there in a few hours.
It's fine. We brought a few other people along on this trip with us. Some of our ex-friends that we helped get us here, along for the ride with us on the way to the International Space Station. We've also had some time to perfect our techniques of food eating and food fun. So going for some toss practice here. This is why we practice. All right, one on the way to Matthias. Throw. That was my fault, Kayla. Here's another one. There we go. Much better. Obviously had some time to perfect our technique. We also are going for the new capsule record of number of spins without touching anything. Tom Marshburn's currently in the lead, and he's about to demonstrate his technique. Oh. The record continues to stand at 5. We'll continue working on it. And as Matthias said, it was a pretty glorious sight. We were just sitting around eating our breakfast and managed to spot the space station out the window, our new home. We're looking forward to heading there.
Crewmates are asking me to share that Sal has doffed her suit just to be more comfortable in the cabin for the ride. Just have to make sure we keep track of her helmet because she'll need that to protect her when we dock later today.
Found FOW is not good at capturing macadamia nuts. We've tried a few times. But form.
And this view you're getting now is the Dragon vehicle as it approaches the International Space Station. Throughout the rest of our coverage today, that little dot will get closer and closer, and of course the image will get much more crisp as it gets closer to this space station.
Here is a great view inside the capsule, and now this view is the cruise view of the International Space Station.
Yep, that's our first view of the International Space Station. That'll continue to get clearer as Dragon moves closer, but this is a camera aboard Dragon capturing the International Space Station. Dragon has gone through Waypoint 0 and is now on its way to Waypoint 1, 220 meters in front of the International Space Station. Transitioning onto the docking axis.
At this point, Dragon is pretty much locked onto the docking target of the International Space Station with LiDAR and some of its other sensors. So again, it knows where it's at in space, it knows where the International Space Station is at, and the crew inside, we saw them navigating through their screens and getting some great information, but they really can just sit back and relax. The Dragon is really navigating pretty much everything at this point and can really dock by itself.
Station, it's Houston on the big loop. You can monitor approach per step 1 of 1.104 Crew Dragon approach and retreat monitoring. Let us know when your review is complete and you're ready for docking.
Review is complete, ready for docking.
Copy all, thanks.
Endurance copies. SpaceX Endurance on the big loop. Crew visors are down and looks like a good alignment. You've got our stamp of approval to continue.
And Dragon, SpaceX on the big loop, we are anticipating that we are going to enter a hold here at Waypoint 2 for some more favorable lighting conditions. Right now we're expecting approximately 10 to 12 minutes for that hold, and we'll keep you posted as we watch those lighting conditions improve for this final sunset before docking.
Endurance copies on the big loop. We can go visors back up then if that's the plan. Otherwise, we're happy with lighting, but you guys obviously have a better estimate of what it's going to look like in a few minutes. So we'll go visors up until you tell us you're ready to continue.
And we concur with that. You do not need to have your visors down until we have entered the approach to prep when we are leaving Waypoint 2.
So Dragon should be reaching Waypoint 2 here in a few minutes. That means it's at 20 meters away from the International Space Station. We did hear from the Corps that they are going to pause here for 10 to 12 minutes for more favorable lighting conditions. So this is necessary for docking. So with the orbital sunrises and sunsets, if we wait a few minutes, we're going to have better lighting for the sensors and cameras on Dragon. So the crews have opted to put their visors up for the time being and wait for that final approach call before they have to close their visors once again.
We have confirmation that Dragon has arrived at Waypoint 2, 20 meters away from the International Space Station. They'll hold here and conduct a final go, no-go poll before final approach.
You can see on screen that Dragon is pretty much parked right outside the front door of the International Space Station. Again, we are waiting for more favorable lighting conditions for that final approach. But again, on screen right now is a view of Dragon. There is a gray ring with 3 petals on it. That is the soft capture ring that has been deployed. This will make initial contact with the International Space Station, attach itself to the International Space Station, and
Dragon SpaceX on the big loop. Ground has pulled go to resume the approach. Please confirm that your readiness for the final approach and that your visors are down. If so, ground will be commanding resume shortly. As a reminder, once Dragon is inside the crew hands-off point, retreat and breakout are not permitted. And one final item of note is that we do anticipate that we may have some less than favorable lighting conditions until approximately 3 meters away from the docking adapter. How copy?
Endurance copies all. We've got the crew visors down. We're expecting lighting conditions may not be perfect until about 3 meters, but honestly, we're happy with what we can see currently, and we'll avoid actions inside the shop.
And SpaceX copies. We will be commanding resume imminently.
so it does look like we're in an orbital nighttime now. You can see the firing of the Draco engines. This is, again, there are 16 of them on the Dragon, and they will continue to fire for any type of micro adjustments that are necessary. There are green and red navigation lights on the outside of Dragon as well. Then also that centerline camera in the middle. Again, all of these sensors help for Dragon to autonomously dock with the International Space Station.
Dragon now just under 14 meters from the International Space Station. Making that slow and methodical approach to the International Docking Adapter.
Meters.
Copy 10.
Now just under 8 meters from the International Space Station.
This is what Dragon is seeing. What you're seeing on screen is the International Space Station and the forward Node 2 port. You can see there are a bunch of lines around that frontmost ring. That is where the hard capture hooks will drive into place. And right in the center of that is the docking target.
Copy 5.
The docking target is what Dragon is using to, again, help navigate it towards the International Space Station. We just heard the call out that we're 5 meters away.
Soft capture confirmed.
For the big loop, we see the same. Soft capture 10 to 18 targets.
And contact confirmed at 3:32 Pacific time as the International Space Station and Endurance were flying 263 statute miles over the Eastern Caribbean.
Now, we still have a few steps to complete before Dragon is securely attached to the space station.
Soft capture wing retraction in progress. SpaceX on the big loop. Docking sequence is complete. Welcome to the International Space Station.
Endurance copies and docking completes, and happy to be here at the ISS.
Ground will be enabling hardline power and comm connections shortly. You have a go to doff your suits per procedure 4.012. We will take the cameras external shortly.
This view now of NASA astronaut Mark Vande as he begins to work through those procedures ahead of hatch opening. We've been pretty lucky with our external camera views so far. This view is from the Japanese exposed facility pointing at the forward end of the International Space Station, where Dragon is currently docked with the Crew-3 astronauts on board.
Endurance, SpaceX on the big loop. You have a go for hatch opening per the decal, followed by the remaining actions in procedure 4.400, section 6.
Big loop endurance copies go for hatch openers, and then the remainder of section 6, 4.400. SpaceX Endurance, the hatch is open.
Copy, we see the same.
And we can start to see the crew members inside Endurance. That hatch that we've been waiting for to open since 5:32 p.m. Central Time is now open. Hatch opening taking place just a couple of seconds ago. And first through the hatch is going to be NASA astronaut Kayla Barron. Some hugs there, and you can hear the claps inside Mission Control. Next up is European Space Agency astronaut Matthias Maurer. And now we have NASA astronaut Tom Marshburn. And NASA astronaut Raja Chari. Lots of hugs and smiles here. 7 crew members now a part of Expedition 66. And you can really see and feel the excitement by the looks on the crew's faces. Looks like they're posing for some photos now.
Welcome to Station Crew-3. You guys look great in that photo.
Houston, this is Station. We are ready for the event.
We copy, Station. Associate Administrator Kathy Lueders, please call the International Space Station for a voice check.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am, we can definitely hear you. Greetings.
Greetings. Okay, hey, you know, tonight's docking was a perfect way for us to finish up what has been our 10-year anniversary year for the commercial crew program. And I don't know about you guys, but it feels like the last 2 weeks have been pretty crazy for me. And I know you guys are probably real happy to be out of crew quarters. I told Norm Knight last night we were rescuing him from crew quarters with this launch, and I know you guys, I know Mark, you were waiting patiently for them to come, enjoying a few days of a little bit of quiet before the next round of folks coming up. But boy, is it good to see you. So Raja, I'm hearing, you know, you're here leading the turtles, and you have the turtle there. And as you know, I'm so happy to, in particular, to see you there after all your work doing the joint test team. So after you come back, it'll be good to hear how the vehicle operated for you with all the work that you did. And it's so fantastic to see Matthias, Kayla, and Tom there with you safely. So we can't wait to see all the work you all are going to accomplish, and I'm looking forward to many, many more amazing experiences to come over the next 6 months while you all are there. Thank you again for your service. I loved, Roger, what you said yesterday when we're getting ready for launch, and you said, you know, we're hoping for a Halloween launch, but it's even cooler right now to be able to launch and dock on Veterans Day. And it is a great way for us to honor our veterans. Thank you.
Thanks, Kathy, and thanks to all the SpaceX and NASA teams. As you mentioned, it was great to get to work on the vehicle, and I think we all loved the ride up there. It was way smoother than we could have imagined, and that feeling going from MECO to the second stage was just awesome, and a beautiful ride. It was neat to see and feel the engines respond and then see it in the displays. And as you mentioned, we were tested before, and it wouldn't have been complete without testing out the system and seeing if we could go from landing to launch in under 48 hours. So kudos to the entire team that pulled that off. We drove Norm crazy in crew quarters, but we had a pretty, we gained some weight there too, but we're happy to be here now and ready to work.
Hi, colleagues. I'm very proud to be commander of this great team. We are start to fly together, and I know in the future we'll have the beautiful days on orbit together. We'll work together and relax together.
And I can't tell you how happy I am to see these smiling faces
every one of us, all 7 of us are friends, and we're going to become even better friends as time goes on. And we've got a lot of work to do all the science experiments. I learned over the course of last week that at this moment we've got 60 experiments in progress already. And of course, by the time we finish our time up here, we'll have participated in many more experiments than that. We've got a lot of work to do, a lot of exciting times coming up, and it's really an honor to be up here at the time when these folks arrived, and to be able to help out, not just with doing science that's going to help out with humanity on the Earth right now, but also to help the human race be better to able to explore further and further away from our home planet.
Thank you, Mrs. Lueders. We now welcome ESA Director General Josef Aschbacher. Please call station for a voice check.
Station, this is Josef Aschbacher. How do you hear me?
Hallo Josef, hier ist Matthias. Ich höre dich 5 by 5.
5 by 5, fantastic. Really happy to see you, Matthias. Happy to see all of you, and it is just amazing to see these smiling faces. I think, Matthias, it must be a great feeling experiencing weightlessness live and for the first time for you. And I think this is just fantastic. I have to say that for ESA and for Europe, it's fascinating to have you as our next representative at the space station, while Thomas, as you know, has just returned to your common home base, the European Astronaut Center in Cologne, and both to recover for him, but also to engage in post-mission scientific activities, the science that you will continue in the next coming 6 months. Matthias, I can only tell you that we all at ESA, we are so proud of you, and very excited to see you at the space station. Of course, we wish you all the best of luck. I know you have a lot of science and a lot of experiments ahead of you, EVAs, including work on the European robotic arm. We look forward to seeing you working in the NASA and the Russian spacesuits, but also I hope that you have some time to enjoy the stunning views of our beautiful planet Earth from the cupola, and your messages to planet Earth, to all of us down here, will certainly be exciting and helping us all to preserve it, and it's just beautiful. So really from my side, Matthias, very, very warm welcome to all of you, also to Raja, to Tom, Kayla, on behalf of the European Space Agency. And I'm just so excited and so happy to see you up there, smiling and in very good shape.
Many thanks, Josef. Many thanks to all the ESA colleagues who helped me to find the way up here into space. It was a very interesting ride, exciting yesterday on the Falcon 9 and the Crew Dragon. And just minutes before we started this PO event, my colleagues here actually gave me the honor in opening the cupola shutters, and just that's an amazing view. It's the view that I was dreaming about for years, and after this event I will go back and just indulge more in this view. So yes, you said right, we have a lot of science experiments ahead, and I'm very happy to continue what Thomas started. And then after 6 months, I will hand over to Samantha, and it will be the time of longest European presence in space, 1.5 years, almost without interruption, if Thomas hadn't left early. And yes, we strive to provide all the science experiments that all the scientists on the ground are hoping for. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Matthias, and really a very warm greetings from all of us here. So Dankeschön, und auch auf Deutsch noch ein paar Grüße, weil es einfach so schön ist, dich in guter Form zu sehen, und alles Gute. Ja.
Ganz herzlichen Dank und ganz, ganz liebe Grüße natürlich auch an alle in Deutschland, in Europa, die das hier möglich gemacht haben. Natürlich auch besonders meine Freunde und Familie. Danke.
Station, this is Houston ACR. That concludes the event.
Thank you, Associate Administrator Lueders and Director General Aschbacher, for your participation in the Crew-3 welcome ceremony. Station, we are now resuming normal operational audio communications.